Hello everyone, welcome again. Let us start our lesson, which is talking about a new poem, and it's the Daffodils. As we mentioned before, the Daffodils is the second term poem, and this poem is written by our English poet William Wordsworth. He's one of the greatest poets ever. William Wordsworth, you have seen a picture of William Wordsworth, of course, and now let us have a brief note about him. William Wordsworth was born in 1770 and he died in 1850. He was born in England and he was a major English romantic poet. And to know more about him, he was a young man who spent time in France because he married a French woman and he supported the French Revolution. He published a book which is really famous in our English poetry, and it is called Lyrical Ballads. He tends to use the simple language, and this is to highlight the remarkable moments of his everyday life. Let us have an introduction about the poem itself. The inspiration for the poem came from a walk with his sister Dorothy, and it was around a bay in the Lake District. This walk was in 1802, and it came across a long field of daffodils. The poem itself was written in 1804 and it was published in 1807 and finally released in 1815. It consists of four stanzas and each stanza is out of six lines, and it has the rhyme scheme of AB, AB, CC. It is well known as I wandered lonely as a cloud, so it has like another common name. Let us move to Wordsworth House. Nowadays, it becomes one of the popular tourist attractions, and we can have a look at the nature around him through the links that I mentioned here. Let us have a look at this. I put you through links and you can go through them, but let us discover the first one, which is beside his house, the beautiful house, and he was really attracted to the nature beside where he lives. Let us have a look at the nature, his house, and then we can listen to the.
William Wordsworth was born in this house in Cockermouth in the Lake District of northwest England in 1770, and by his death 80 years later had produced some of the greatest of English poetry and had deeply influenced future generations of English poets. He had a happy childhood here until the untimely deaths of his mother when he was 8 and his father only 5 years later. It is the first mild day of March, each minute sweeter than before. The redbreast sings from the tall larch that stands beside our door. There is a blessing in the air which seems a sense of joy to yield to the bare trees and mountains bare and grass in the green field. Then come, my sister, come, I pray, with speed put on your woodland dress, and bring no book, for this one day we'll give to idleness.
Right now, he's gonna
I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils.
And as you see, William Wordsworth is really touched by the nature. And that is why you will find that the nature is the main theme of most of his poems. Now let us move to the theme of the daffodils. The theme of this poem is the nature's beauty, with a mix of happiness and loneliness. The author Wordsworth is shown to be lonely, but when he thinks back to the daffodils dancing, he feels back again happy, content he's not alone. So you see that he's really attracted by the nature around him and all the elements of nature, the cloud, the lake, the flowers, the daffodils, the valleys, the hills, everything around him. And that is why he has a very strong link and is really connected to the nature.